Hey guys, what's up? So, I'm still not really feeling like I want to do any RC videos, so I wanted to give you guys some kind of content. So, me and my friend Galen are going to be doing these little podcast type things. They're going to be like ten minutes long ish. And we'll just be covering random topics, normally tech related. So, today we're going to be just answering random questions, common questions about PCs. So, our number one question, well, not number one question, but our first question will be laptop or PC, and that's a pretty common one. So I think it really depends on what you're doing.
I think this is a big factor. Are you in college or not?
Yeah, that's true.
Because if you're in college, I encourage you to get a laptop so you can carry it around with you class to class, then come home and game at night. But if you're in your own apartment, either in high school or after college or somewhere, just buy a desktop. It's cost per performance is much higher, and it's just way more worth it to buy a PC.
hmm Yeah, I think you can also you can easily upgrade and build, so it is much better with cost. And if it gets outdated, you can just replace stuff. Whereas with a laptop, you really can't. You just have to get a new laptop.
Right.
So, next question is, what is the best pre-built PC and are pre-built PCs bad ideas?
It depends on where you're buying them from. If you're buying them from iBuyPower, that's like a really large, like increase of the price purely for, you know, the sake of so they can get profit. If you're going to buy a pre-built PC, NZXT is the way to go because they charge you MSRP for all their price, all of their parts, and then it's just a $100 build fee.
hmm And then on top of that, it's really easy to um, get a good built PC on there. They just ask you if you're going to be using 1080p or 1440p, if you want 30 FPS or 60 FPS, and then they'll give some examples of games that you'll be playing that you can select, and then it'll give you a recommendation. It also asks you your budget, which is a
You
big
can
one.
you can also pick either AMD or Intel.
hmm
Like the build I plan on buying once I have money is an AMD build just to save for money saving sakes.
AMD is generally a lot cheaper. Definitely look into AMD if any of you guys are going to build a PC. You get more cores, not quite faster like gigahertz, but you still get quite a bit out of them, and it's just
Right.
generally a better deal, a much
Mm-hmm.
better deal. You can get 6 core processors for like 150 bucks from them, so not bad at all. Is right now a good time to build a PC? Because prices constantly fluctuate. Is right now a good time to build one?
Well, considering the crypto like fiasco is behind us, um, I would say yes. Yes is a great. This is a great time to build a PC with the new RTX line of cards out.
Especially the more
GTX
budget RTX line.
the 1600 um, RTX cards. Actually, those are GTX cards.
Yeah,
GTX 1600
I'm thinking
series.
like the RTX 2060. So not really a line, but the card.
Right. Yeah.
That's like what
There's
350.
yeah. There's some good RTX options. There's some newer GTX architecture cards with that 1600 series, and any um, 10 series cards that you can pick up because they are not manufacturing them anymore. Um, will be quite cheap and still have a lot of performance in them.
hmm
Like the 1080 is still a great card for gaming.
That's what I use, and I get really great frame rates.
Mm-hmm.
And those 16 series, Nvidia just announced that those are in a few laptops now. So back
Yeah,
to the whole
yeah.
laptop thing. If you're doing laptop gaming, you can get the 16
Mm-hmm.
line. So there's a lot of stuff you can put in a PC. What things are not really needed?
RGB,
There you go. I love
that's the
RGB though.
main one. RGB is great. I have RGB peripherals. When I build my PC, actually, when I order it from NZXT, if it doesn't already come with lights, I'm going to add lights. Because they look great, but in a budget build, you don't need to buy Trident Z RGB sticks. You don't need fancy Kraken cooler. You don't need a huge like array of lights. It's just it doesn't help your performance in any way. While yes, Trident Z RAM is a very high quality RAM, you can get more or less the same thing at a lower price just without the flashy RGB.
Another thing to consider is you don't need the super high end power supplies. Power supplies, it's good to
Oh
have
yeah.
good ones. Don't underpay for a power supply. That is the dumbest thing you can do. You'll probably destroy something. But you don't need the
Fry them up.
super incredible, like, platinum power supplies. You just need, like,
Yeah.
a bronze standard will be plenty. People have done tests and they figured out that the amount of energy that you save with those super efficient ones, the super efficient power supplies over a few years, is actually still less money than you're paying to get those.
You don't even buy back the power supply in money saved. Is basically what he's saying. So it's just not worth it.
It's really
Just
not.
like use PC Part Picker, whatever voltage it recommends, get 100 above that, and you're good to go.
And if you plan on upgrading, you might want to go 200 or 300 above that. But even then,
Yeah. Or if for you budget builders out there, you'll want to get the bare minimum you can get, and then when you want to upgrade, you'll have to compensate for also upgrading your power supply at the same time, which I know is tedious, but for a budget build, it is the best option just to get what you need. Like compromise everything except for except for quality. Never compromise quality. You'll
and
regret it.
while we're talking about budget stuff, what are the best cheap but decent gaming PC parts? I think, like we said
Uh,
before, anything by AMD, definitely.
Anything by AMD. Um, don't don't buy Radeon. Don't buy Radeon. I have a bone to pick with Radeon. It tries to be NVIDIA, but it's just not going to give you the same performance as NVIDIA. So if you're going to go NVIDIA, if you have the money, RTX is great. If you don't, 16 series cards are probably the way to go right now if you don't have money for RTX. But just for the love of God, don't use Radeon.
Yeah.
And as far as RAM pricing, which like an 8 sticks of RAM right now goes for like 70 to 80 bucks. Because the RAM shortage is not coming to an end, but it's on decline. So RAM is still really expensive right now. But if you go for Crucial, which is a brand of RAM, which is bare bones, there's no like extra heat sink or any flashy RGB. It's just the green stick. Yes, it's ugly. Yes, it's repulsive, but it gets the job done for like $20 less than the flashy stuff, or just the at least the decently looking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all around better to get that Crucial RAM because it's pretty cheap and again, budget builders, it's a great option.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you don't have like a big glass piece on the side of your case. If you're not going to see it, then it's a good option. But if you do have a
Yeah.
glass case, then I would consider getting something that looks a little better.
Right, yeah.
Another thing with RAM, if you're going to get anything by AMD that's on the higher end of the AMD spectrum, make sure you get a decent amount of RAM and decently fast RAM. I would say the minimum would be 16 gigs of RAM at 3200 megahertz.
Actually, that's for any Ryzen processor.
Yeah.
Except for the bottom tier ones, like the Ryzen 3, don't go overkill. Just 8 gigabytes of a high speed. But once you get it to the 5 and 7 line, like 5 and 7 chips, 16 gigabytes, and definitely, like Aaron said, 3200 speed and above. Please.
Yeah, you really won't get full performance out of them without that. They're very RAM hungry, and that's what AMD is working on with the newer ones. They're trying to make them less RAM reliant because RAM like Galen said, is pretty darn expensive right now.
Yeah, which is the one thing Intel really achieves at is being able to have efficient processing without a lot of RAM.
Mm-hmm. So one of the biggest questions out there is PC or console.
This is purely a preference-based question.
It is.
Purely preference-based. If you're my dad and you play World of Tanks, you don't need a giant PC with a 2080 Ti and an i9 9900K. Just buy a PS4 or an Xbox One X and have a blast.
But there are some cases where you do want PC.
Yeah.
If you like high frame rates and really good looking graphics, PC is the way to go. And one of the biggest things people complain about is they say PC is so expensive, blah, blah, blah. The thing with PCs, though, is while they might be a little more expensive when you first buy them, which you can get pretty good PCs for $500 or $600, which is a little more than Xbox and PlayStation. But you can upgrade them as time goes on, whereas with the Xboxes and PlayStations, you're going to be buying a whole new console every few years.
Which brings us to our next topic. How often are upgrades needed in a PC?
Mm-hmm. And it really depends on what you do.
Yeah. Right, yeah. If you're a content creator, you're going to want to constantly have the best stuff because you need to be... the newest stuff that releases every 2 to 4 years, or at least in a processor's case, every year with Intel, you might not need to upgrade your processor every year, but every graphics card generation upgrade something. Maybe not even the graphics card. Even though like GTX to RTX is like 8 years, right?
Something like that. I have no idea.
Maybe every 4 years, upgrade something. Or if you start with a budget build that you want to upgrade over time, maybe try and shoot for something a year until you have a decent spec rig, and then go to the every 4-year thing. Because maybe there's a great processor that you want to upgrade to. Maybe there's a new, type of RAM. Maybe there's a new graphics card generation. Because in the content creators field of work, you need to be rendering videos as fast as you can, so you can get your content out faster, and so you can have higher quality content, because you can do more with better spec stuff.
Good or bad idea?
Depends on how shady your Craigslist guy is.
That pretty much sums it up. Okay, well, that's it now. So, yeah, I think the used market can definitely be something to look into. You can get some pretty good deals if you know where to look. But you can also get scammed really easily. There's people selling PCs with... I literally saw this Craigslist ad. It was on a YouTube video, but it was a GTX 760, which is like a really, really low-end card. And they had it in a PC, and they're selling it for $4,000. This was only posted about a month ago. So, there will be people that will fall for that, and that's really sad, because that is a massive waste of money.
Yeah, be smart. Do your research.
Really, yeah, do your research. You can...
Don't buy an overpowered PC.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the brand.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking Walmart PCs.
I find it kind of interesting that Walmart decided to make their own brand. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. And when I first saw that, I was like, oh, it's going to be, a cheap PC. How interesting, because it's Walmart. No, they upsell that thing so much, and then they jack the price up, but then they cut so many corners.
And that's like most of the pre-built brands. That's what most of them do.
That is most of them.
Like my iBuyPower PC. It came with an 800 watt power supply, which I was really surprised about. But I was looking, and they sell for like 25 or 30 bucks on eBay. But it is by some brand I'd never heard of, and I just don't trust that, to be honest. Like, if I buy a PC for as much as that thing costed, I really want a good quality brand name power supply.
Mm-hmm. Like Corsair.
Yeah.
Or, what's the other guys that? You can cut this part out.
Yeah.
Make it look like we're smart. EVGA.
EVGA, yes. Okay, I have an EVGA power supply. I upgraded some of my stuff. EVGA, nice.
EVGA, Corsair, and Thermaltake. Those are the 3 brands I recommend when buying a power supply. Those are going to be the most trustworthy brands. And Be Quiet. Be Quiet as well.
Yeah.
I just saw one of the Be Quiet ones. Because not only is it a good power supply, it's in the name. It's quiet. All of Be Quiet stuff is probably some of the quietest parts you're going to get on the market.
And it's not a gimmicky name. It actually is quiet. Well, I think we'll end it here with some nice shots of Walmart's website. Hope you guys enjoyed this really weird podcast thing. Let me know if you like these. I hope you do, because I'm genuinely enjoying this. See you in the next one.